Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont, on Wednesday said former President Trump was right about trying to end endless wars, hours after President Biden laid out his plan to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan and end America's longest war by the September 11th, 20th anniversary of the attacks that sparked the conflict. When asked by host Wolf Blitzer on CNN's The Situation Room about Biden's decision to withdraw troops from Afghanistan, Sanders applauded the president's decision while also commending Trump for the deal he struck for the troop withdrawal while in office. What President Biden is doing is picking up on the negotiated agreement that President Trump put together, Sanders said. I am not a great fan of Donald Trump and his administration, but he was right in trying to end endless wars. These wars cannot continue to go on forever, and we've got to learn that in many respects, diplomacy, various types of educational aid, healthcare aid, is much more important and much more effective than an occupying force on the ground, Sanders added. In February 2020, Trump signed a deal with the Taliban that called for a full U.S. withdrawal of troops by May 2021 if the group upheld certain commitments, such as denying safe haven to Al Qaeda. The deadline was set for May 1st. Sanders added that the U.S. has to do the best we can in supporting the Afghan military and government, noting that we do not need to spend huge amounts of money doing that. We do not need to put American lives at stake. He also said the soldiers who gave their lives in the war and the $2 trillion expenditure are enough. Biden on Wednesday in a speech delivered in the treaty room of the White House, the same room where former President George W. Bush announced the start of the war, unveiled his plan to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan by September 11th. And then Biden said, and I'll wrap it up with this, war in Afghanistan was never meant to be a multi-generational undertaking. We were attacked. We went to war with clear goals. We achieved those objectives. Bin Laden is dead and Al Qaeda is degraded in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's time to end the forever war. You know, I just realized as I read that Bin Laden next month will have been dead for 10 years. And it's like you had this conflict that was centered around this man being one of the key players. And we're going on a decade since he was, slain. And it's still ongoing, this conflict. Like, wow, Obama wasn't even in his second term when it happened. But anyways, let me address something that, so I, for the most part, agree with what Sanders said here. This is just a nitpick I have. I always hate it when a lot of these politicians and a lot of these commentators as well feel they have to make the clarification that they're not a fan of someone when they offer praise for something they've done. So anyone who's been around for the last 2 or 3 years, even longer actually, knows that Sanders called Trump all kind of different things: worst president, a president that lies, a liar, just all kind of different stuff that you can infer. If he praises him for this one specific thing, he's not a great fan of Trump. But for some reason, Sanders has to make sure that we know that, because we didn't pay enough attention to all the other times he criticized him. And I really am hoping that should Biden have a full term, because there's the possibility that he might step down and Harris might take over, but if he has a full term or 2 terms, as long as Sanders is a senator, that he is consistent in the sense that I talked about how there's a chance that when we get the September 11th deadline, Biden might say, oh no, to hell with that, let's keep this going even further. I really hope that if that happens, and I hope it doesn't happen, I hope we leave by September, if not earlier, Sanders says Biden lied. He told us one thing and then did the opposite. Because as I mentioned before, I can name multiple instances of Trump saying he was withdrawing from Syria and, having various warmongers lose their minds. And then he said, oh no, I'm reneging. And then he stayed over there. I want some consistency across the board. So these are comments I generally agree with. I'm just tired of I'm not a big fan. Like, yes, we know you don't like this person. We've been around the block before.